Carolyn Dube here, and welcome to this month's colorful jelly print party. What are we doing this month? Well, this month I'm experimenting with the Dylusions paints. I recently got my hands on them and I wanted to see how they worked on a jelly plate. So I'm just trying different textures in it. I'm kind of horsing around. It's no pressure. I'm actually going to decorate this plain box that I had that something else was shipped in. That way it's all colorful and exciting, so when I need a quick way to put a gift together or ship somebody something, I've already got a decorated box ready to go. Now, of course, you're about to see what I make with the jelly plate, but I'd love to see what you're making with the jelly plate too. You can find a place to share over in Google Plus in a community called A Colorful Playground. There aren't a lot of rules to it, and if you're not used to getting around on Google Plus, not a problem. We've got videos showing you how to do that. So if you'd like some more inspiration and if you'd like to share what you're making, I'd love it if you'd stop over and see us. And of course, you can find the links of how to directly get there either in the video description on YouTube or on my blog post at acolorfuljourney.com. Well, enough talking, let's start playing. Well, I've just gotten my hands on some Dylusions paints and I wanted to see how well they worked with the jelly plate. So I'm going to give them a try here with the 6-inch round jelly plate and this plain old white box. I'm going to dip my brayer right into that jar, and because it's such a wide-mouthed jar, it's really easy for me to dip a brayer into it. When I jelly print on things like a box, I generally like to have the box actually popped up and assembled, because that way I can kind of see how everything's going. I enjoy working with it more as a 3D object, but you'll see that has some drawbacks, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Going to dip in and grab some of that orange, mixing it in with the yellow. And I'm grabbing a hotel toiletry to make some marks in that. I've got an entire video using all sorts of found items, especially from a hotel room, including a bar of soap. And I'll have that link for you over on the blog so you can check out that video. And when you can see there that my printmaking is not perfect here, but you know, nothing really should be perfect in my life. When I'm making that print on a surface that's flat like this art journal, I can get a very crisp or the complete print from that right there because it's flat. But when I work on something like a box that's more 3D, that means I'm going to get some gaps wherever the box has a little bit of curve to it and I can't get the pressure. Unfortunately, my video camera went out for the pink. I don't know why it didn't record that, but I basically did the same kind of thing with pink on there. Now bringing in the blue, I'm going to add a stencil because I want to get some different textures or looks to this. So I'm going to put that stencil on there and then I'm going to push the box down. But you're going to see that a whole bunch of the middle is missing. So if I want to actually get more of this print, I am going to have to flatten out the box. And what that means is I run the risk of getting my hands in wet paint or being willing to wait for things to dry. And if you've seen much of my stuff, you know I'm not really willing to wait for things to dry. Something that I'm noticing about the Dylusions paints is I'm using a lot more of it than I have to. So I am really loading a lot on with that brayer sometimes like I did with the blue, and I don't have to use that much paint if I want to get the color. And I pretty much have a lead foot when it comes to using paint, so this is something that I'm going to have to keep an eye on and try and use less paint. So we're going to, fingers crossed, we're going to see if I use less paint with this color. Definitely got full coverage there, got lots happening with it, and I'm actually going to put pieces of lace on it this time to get some texture. Now because I've got so many pieces of lace on there, we're not actually going to see the round jelly plate with this. It's actually going to give me a very different look than any of the other prints, because just little bits and pieces of the paint are going to come through. And the fact that I'm doing it on a box, then the cardboard has a little bit of curve to it apparently, that makes it so that I'm not going to get a complete print. And that is exactly what's making me happy right now, because this way I get some other shapes and colors around. Well, here's the thing though, as I'm doing this, I'm trying to use up the color here and there all over it, spreading it around the box. But that art journal page or spread that's kind of building up there, that's where I'm going to clean off the jelly plate. And I'm just kind of putting them down there and seeing what'll happen. By the time I'm done, I am just going to have those 2 pages completely filled up. Now in this lime green color, what I'm going to use is a tool that I made in one of the other jelly parties, and it is just simply with an old vitamin bottle and some fun foam or craft foam, and that's going to create a completely different texture than what I've had so far. So I'm going to add some of this bright color and this texture somewhere on this box, looking for empty spaces where I can put it. Yes, I'm putting that right on top of the blue that's still damp. What I'm finding with this paint is if it's really thick, it takes longer to dry, and if it's a very thin application, it dries very quickly. That's not really a shocker because that's pretty much how paint works. Well, I'm a picky purple person, and that means I don't always like purples, but this purple, there is something about the vibrancy of it that I really, really like. Now what I'm doing is just dragging some lines through that jelly plate using my Catalyst blade tool just to get some texture in there. Anything that has a straight edge to it, you can drag it along there to create those kinds of lines. And as long as I keep finding white space somewhere on that box or somewhere on that journal page, or even if there's not really white space, I'm going to keep adding more and more to it. Anytime I see white space, it's just calling for me to add some color to it. Now, just because I've used a technique once here doesn't mean I can't use it again. So I'm going to bring that lace right back for the green to get some color and pattern, just bits of color added around, so it's not a complete big print, but I'm going to get little bits here and there. Well, I have a favor to ask of you. If you've been enjoying this video, if you could give it a thumbs up. If you think there's somebody that you know that would enjoy watching it, I'd love it if you shared it with them. And of course, I'd love it if you stopped by the blog and said hello, pinned this onto Pinterest, shared this in whatever kind of way that you're comfortable sharing it. Well, I'm just about out of white space on all of this stuff, so I think this orange is probably going to be my last bit of color on it. So I'm just going to find any spot on that box that seems to have any white space left and just give it a little more color. And I'm going to clean off this jelly plate as much as I ever clean off a jelly plate just by taking a print. Some of the paint's still going to be on the jelly plate, and that doesn't bother me in the least. The paint's still damp, but what the heck, I'm going to assemble the box and see what it all looks like as a complete box. And I'm definitely very happy with this. I'm just going to slap a name and address on it, and it's a great way to mail something to somebody. Or if I'm hand delivering a gift, if I slap a bow on top of that, I don't even have to mess with wrapping. Well, this art journal page, I really like the little bits of pink that are in it, but I want more pink. And all I have to do is ink up the jelly plate with another round of paint and slap that down, and I bring out more and more of the pink. Not going to waste anything here, and I'm going to just make sure that I've got that pink popping. So now this art journal spread is ready for me to do something more with it whenever the muse inspires me. Well, thanks for joining me for a little play with the jelly plate today. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you never miss one of my new videos. And of course, I'd love it if you'd share what you're making with the jelly plate over in the Google Plus community called A Colorful Playground. Thanks for being a part of this colorful journey.